6 tax rate hearing.
Thank you, Madam President. It's that time of year when we go through and do our tax rate hearing, and so this has been published over the last week or so here. And so if you jump into the next slide, first slide here. All right, so this kind of shows a breakdown from last year to this year. This shows the assessed valuation, and so these are the values that I receive from the county, and it has a breakdown of real estate and personal property. So as you can see there, real estate from 2024 to 2025 took a very significant jump there. It's about a 13.11% increase, and so from what going back and looking historically, that is an unprecedented increase in assessed valuation. We're talking about over $40 million in increases there. So that does have impacts that I will get into in the amount of assessed valuation and how the Hancock Amendment works that I'll get into here in just a little bit. But you can see there that from 24 to 25, the increase in real estate and then also in personal property there. And so our overall assessed valuation went from $376 million to a little over $423 million, which was an overall increase of about $46 million. So jumping in here, Waynesville, we do not run amounts in our debt service amount. We always run ours in our general fund there. So as you can see there, our actual voter approved levy is $3.05. But due to the Hancock Amendment, which, like I said, I'll get into that here in just a second, we are forced to roll back this year to $2.8747 there. So, and that amount is anticipated. The projected revenue that will be generated by that is about $12.1 million over FY26. And just to kind of give you an idea here, so our proposed tax rate for this year is going to be the $287.47. As I mentioned before, the Hancock Amendment has kicked in on this, and what that does is if you look every year, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, is set by the Missouri Tax Commission. For this year, it's 2.9%. So what that means is that the amount of revenue generated by the tax levy cannot exceed the CPI. So this year, with CPI being at 2.9%, the amount of revenue generated from the local tax rate was not allowed to exceed the 2.9%. And so whenever that happens, then they force you to roll your tax levy back to the point to where the given tax rate does generate the amount at the maximum of the 2.9%. So we are forced this year to roll our tax levy back to $287.47. Like I mentioned before, the voter approved levy is $3.05, and as we all know, we fight and struggle to maintain our B2 eligibility. So that does have implications for that going down the road. But I will say, had we not passed that 10-cent tax increase back in 2024, that we would be in a much worse position than we are now. So this will take effect. We always work off of 3 years prior data when we do our B2 eligibility. So this will take effect for the 2029 school year for B2 eligibility purposes. I'm still hopeful that we'll be able to use special factors and things and still maintain our B2 eligibility. But I do just want to really stress the importance of that 10-cent tax increase that was passed, and that is going to be the thing that gives us hope to continue on B2 eligibility in the future. So, and then we always like to mention here that, if you look here, that the gray representation in that bar chart, that is every other school district in the state of Missouri. The orange representation there, 92% of all districts across the state of Missouri have a higher tax rate than the Waynesville School District does. So that is you get a very good bang for your buck here from a tax rate standpoint in the Waynesville School District. So this kind of shows here, this kind of paints a picture as to the importance of the B2 funding that we receive and the importance of maintaining that eligibility. So as you can see here, looking at the 3 different pie charts, this breaks down the different revenue sources for school districts across the Missouri and also the United States. And so mainly looking at that dark orange piece there, you can see there that Waynesville is about, is at 23% local. And then you look across the state of Missouri, that averages out more around like 59% local. And then if you look at across the United States school districts, that number runs right around like the 40%, 46% mark. So with Waynesville having such high level of federal property within its boundaries, that local funding for us, we have much less taxing capacity than most districts do. And so you'll notice that federal portion there, the green piece of pie there, that's a much bigger representation, as you can see. So that represents our impact aid funding and the importance of maintaining that B2 eligibility moving forward. Do I have any questions? I will be bringing this as an action item, setting that tax rate here later on in the meeting, but I'd be glad to answer any questions at this point.
I think we're good. Thank you very much.
Thank
At this
you.
time, we'll call our August Board of Education meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome, and thank you everyone for being here on the first day of school. I know it started super early. I will entertain a motion to adopt our agenda. Thank you, Mr. Keeling. Second, Mr. Harn. All in favor, show of hands. Okay. All right, citizens' participation and statements.
Thank you, Madam President. We had no requests for citizens' participation per board policy BDDH.
Okay, and it looks like we do not have a military liaison update this evening. So district announcements.
Thank you, Madam President. We're off to a great start this school year. I appreciate the community's patience as we did experience some delays on GW Lane due to some car crashes on I-44, but everybody was great, and once kids got in class, we went around to all the buildings today. Dr. Goforth and I did, and kids were in class smiling and learning, and the buildings look great. So thank you to our maintenance and custodial teams for getting them so shiny and ready for the kids, and thank you to transportation for making these adjustments as we are experiencing some road closures due to construction as well. And just a reminder with that our buses do run late the first few days of school, so we continue to ask for your patience as we work those kinks out. And just a reminder, too, at the beginning of the school year that Missouri passed a new law, Senate Bill 68, so that prohibits students from using or displaying electronic personal communication devices from the beginning until the end of the day. And I do want to stress to the community that if you have a student that is participating in after school or needing picked up for a ride, they can have their cell phone out at the end of the day. Once that bell rings at 2:35, if they need to contact you or check something or make arrangements, that is perfectly acceptable to use that cell phone. And please also feel free to call the school if you do need to get in contact with your child. Meet the Tiger Night will be held on August 21st, 2025. There will be no school on Monday, September 1st to celebrate Labor Day. And please mark your calendars for September 5th, Military Appreciation Night at our football game. All active duty service members and military retirees with military ID will be admitted free at the home varsity football game. Friday, September 19th is the Fall Festival of Nations at the home varsity football game. And then homecoming will be October 3rd, and I believe this year's theme is Under the Sea. I think it's a little cooler than that, but that's the general theme of that. And also just a reminder that we welcome all volunteers to go ahead and fill out their background paperwork now so that they're available to attend those field trips and volunteer in their child's classrooms as soon as possible. And you can get those at the administration building or at the PIC Educational Center. Thank you. To kick off the first official day of the 25-26 school year, we do have some pictures to share with you. If you wouldn't mind rolling that, please. And I'd just like to take a moment to thank our PI partners and all of the officials from Fort Leonard Wood for being there to greet our students and help them get to class the first day. It really just makes it so warm and welcoming, and we appreciate the extra support. And with that,
Looks like a fun day. Awesome. All right, next up, we have our consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Harn. All in favor, show of hands. Okay. There was a lot there. Staff recommends bookmobile, Mr. Henson.
Thank you, Madam President. So tonight I would like to recognize our library media specialists for promoting literacy through their bookmobile throughout the summer months. So first, if I can have Cassie Wilson and Kristen Ross come up. So Cassie and Kristen called me one day and they're like, hey, can you come to our library? We have this idea. And I said, sure. So I came up to visit with them and they shared the idea of this bookmobile, and so we talked through it, and a couple different ideas came about. At first, we were going to drive through neighborhoods, and then we kind of thought through it, and they thought through it, and they came to me, they thought, well, can you get us the tech van? I said, sure, I'll get you a tech van. So we got the tech van. They're like, can we park it? Would you work with the cities of Waynesville and St. Robert and see if we can park the van in their parks? And I did. So these two ladies had this great idea, came to me. We were able to put it into motion, but with a great idea, you need a team behind you. And so they also had a great team behind them. So if I can get Jennifer Henson, Kennedy Beecham, Lori Crabtree, Raquel D'Souza, and Angela Huff come up. So this team, throughout the summer, and we know it has not been a cool summer, throughout the summer, every Tuesday and Thursday, they would either be in the Waynesville Park or the St. Robert Park and have their bookmobile open. And we had students from Waynesville, but we also had groups of homeschool students that would come through. We had daycares that knew the schedule, and they would come through. We had people from other communities, students from other communities that knew the schedule, and they would come through. But then we also, something that really made this bookmobile special, which we will recognize later tonight, is our guest readers, and we have several of those guest readers here tonight in the audience. But also, there was always popsicles as well at the end, so that made it great as well. So I'd like to thank our library media specialists. I'd like to thank the cities of Waynesville and St. Roberts for the use of their beautiful parks. Thank our guest readers. No matter how hot it was, they were out there spending time with the children, and then our tech department for the use of their vans. So, but we look forward to next summer to bring the bookmobile back. We'll talk about it, say, hey, is there anything we can do to improve it? But it was pretty special this year, so thank you.
I think we also have to say thank you to some of the spouses because I know that they supported their library folks being out there and bringing them cool drinks and things like that. So. All right, thank you, Mr. Henson. Next up, we have the MIMO Lifetime Achievement Award. Mrs. Long.
Thank you, Madam President. It is my pleasure to recognize Peggy Arnold for being awarded the Marketing Educators of Missouri Lifetime Achievement Award. Ms. Arnold was given this organization's highest honor to recognize her career and contributions to marketing education across the state. And we are just so excited that obviously her professional organization recognized her for what we already know is that she just, she gives everything she has to her students and makes a profound difference in all of their lives. So we're so excited to recognize her with this.
Congratulations, Mrs. Arnold. Next up, we have community recognitions. Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Madam President. As Mr. Henson set up for us, this evening we would like to recognize our book readers, our community members that read this summer at our bookmobile. When I call your name, if you'll please come up and accept your certificate, and then of course wait, because we have to have a picture. Janelle Rowell. Walter Reese. John Moore. Rebecca Wooden. Denise Reed. Pastor Brett Reith. Steve Goodsky Hertig. Bethany Reith. And Nicole Thayer.
All right, next up we have our discussion items. We have a construction update with Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Madam President. Pleased to present an update on our active construction project at this time. Jumping into the first slide here. So I've got some pictures here of Liberty Elementary. So this is from T Highway. As you're kind of pulling up to the site, you can see the construction on the retaining walls there. And the next slide here. This is from if you're pulled into where the parent entrance is going to be. Coming right off of T Highway, you can kind of see as you're approaching to come up to the site there. This is a shot showing kind of the driveway that's going to come up where the parent entrance is at. That driveway is pretty much ready to go. It's almost ready for pavement, so that'll be the kind of final grading for that. And this site here is looking on where the actual building pad is going to be. So this is where the actual building will be built. They've pretty much got that site ready to go as well. And then kind of going over, so this is the schedule. This is for the phase 1 excavating portion of the project. As it says here, blasting is 100% complete, so we're done blasting now. Through October of this year, they'll still be finishing off, hauling off material. They're done with most of the major excavating of phase 1, but they will have some materials and things to haul off and to get it down to the finished grade. And then in February of 26, we're expecting all the retaining walls to be complete. So jumping into phase 2 here, which is the actual construction of the building. So actually, Wright Construction was on site starting today, starting to dig footers and actually getting to work on the project. So we're excited about that. And then I talked to them last week and I said, for the patrons and people driving down T Highway, when can we expect to be able to driving down T Highway and look it up and seeing an actual building being built? And that's going to happen around the November time frame. You'll be able to see an actual building and an actual structure going up. So that'll be really exciting to see that. And then around March of 2027 is when we're shooting for the substantial completion date on that project. And then our high school HVAC project, and so we are substantially complete on that. There are still some remaining items they are going to be tweaking and things. Everything is installed, everything is in place. There's just some kind of remaining things as far as like going through and balancing out the amount of air coming out of all the different ducts and things like that. But overall, that project is complete, other than the minor little punch list items and tweaks that we got to make in the building. So excited to have some new air conditioning in that building as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Harrison. Grant-funded programs, Mrs. Long.
Thank you, Madam President. It's my pleasure to provide an update on our current grant-funded programs that we have within our district. The first program that I'm going to highlight is our DODEA grant, our current DODEA grant, which was Project Impart. And if you remember, this is our final year of 5 years with this grant, and it focused on mathematical practices. And so over the past 5 years, just a quick recap, in years, we started in year, thank you. Started in year 1 with some professional development and purchasing of math manipulatives, though it's really a focus on hands-on math work and engaging students in deeper work with math and understanding the why behind the math that they're doing in computing. And so the purchase of some manipulatives came along with the beginning of that grant, and then it went into utilizing further professional development for the next 4 years. Utilizing what they call the TQE process. Again, it's a process of instruction focusing on giving the students tasks so that they are using the concepts and applying the concepts that they're learning to have deeper understanding, questioning further into that, and providing evidence so that they know that they are mastering those skills. They went through, in year 1, 2 full days of professional development. Further on in years 2 through 4, there were planning workshops, there were school walkthroughs where we actually partnered with Solution Tree, who has some great mathematical professionals that came through and did some school walkthroughs with our teachers and with our administrators, just watching our teachers teach and providing some feedback. There were learning labs where teachers would learn how to teach a few concepts, actually go into a classroom and teach them with those people that were leading the professional development, watching and providing feedback through that. Lesson studies where they reviewed lessons that were designed, as well as some virtual sessions with those professionals. This is our final year, as I mentioned, of the grant, and so as we wrap it up, we are basically, the end of it entails of, obviously, there's many parts of it that we will continue to focus on throughout our professional development, monitoring the implementation within the classrooms, through classroom observations, the collection of data for not just reporting purposes, but also I'm just really pleased to note that we have seen significant growth in several grade levels in the area of math, and are really proud of that work that's been done to get us there. And the support of that grant to get us there as well. The next current grant that I wanted to share, it was a real exciting one for us to receive this year, the STEM Camp grant, and you may have seen this just recently, beginning of this month. I have to really applaud Ms. Rowden and Ms. Swearingen, and then all the teachers that were able to lead in this, as well as we had a group of high school students who also acted as lab assistants, and it provided high school and college students. A couple of our recent graduates came back and are able to work as lab assistants in this camp. It stands for Science Technology. You got that STEM in there for kids active military personnel, but it's open to everyone in our community. The sign-up was open, although it is paid for by a military supported funding source. So that's why that is on the DODEA grant as well. It is a 3-year grant that provides, it's fully funded for the first 2 years, and then the district will take on the funding for the 3rd year. As I mentioned on here, we had, the staff that was able to lead there did a phenomenal job. 76 students attended. You can see the breakdown there. It was in 6th through 8th grade. And as they went through, they had 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday of the camp, where they rotated through the different days. It had a bugging out and insect focus. And so they did, that was the focus of their learning on those different days and the themes. As you could see them go through those rotations and learning all about the different types of bugs, really engaged in that learning. It was an exciting time on Wednesday, actually all of the campers were able to go to a field trip to Bray Conservation and had rotated through some stations and some on-site learning there as well to apply that learning within our community. You can see some great pictures of that field trip. And then Friday was Family Day, and it was really special. I was able to stop in. Our own Nick Lambert, who's one of our teachers from the Career Center, one of our STEM teachers who has a real passion for this, was their guest speaker, and they were throwing him all sorts of questions. I got there for the Q&A, and they were really, it was like stump Mr. Lambert. It was great. And they also really wanted to know his thoughts on some gaming systems, which he was more than willing to share. But they did that. The parents came in, he spoke to both the students and parents. They then went around, and it was really neat to see the parents and the students interacting as the kids were showing off and some of the exhibits and labs that they had set up for them to engage in together. They also had as you can see, groups from MS&T that were here demonstrating some of there was one that was showing different sockets. I can't really tell what they all did, but he was really explaining it well, when it was pretty cool what they were being built to do. And then a chemist that came in as well to speak. So the kids could really see some real life application of those concepts. It was a very successful. We're excited about hosting it again next year. The next grant is the Army Youth Program in Your Neighborhood, known as APIN. This is one that we've had for many, many years. This is our funding source for our after-school programs in grades 6 through 12. So this pays for our WIN at the middle school and the high school. And we're just really pleased our attendance was really good last year. Funding for APIN is based on student attendance, the number of times that particularly military impacted students attend the programs. We have some really high interest clubs and some students that are really engaged in them and attend regularly. And again, although the funding source is through a military impacted grant, every student in our district is welcome to attend these after-school programs, and it really gives them a chance to engage in just a multitude of activities to get them involved in their school. AmeriCorps, just a little recap. We are so grateful to still have our AmeriCorps grant within our district. You probably saw nationally the programs were cut pretty severely, and we are one of the last AmeriCorps programs that are surviving, particularly in our state. I'm really, really happy and pleased with the support of our state and our state program. They obviously have seen the success of the program here in Waynesville and continue to help advocate for that. So we're excited to announce that we have been, currently we still are receiving an awarded funding for this upcoming school year as well. AmeriCorps members focus on reading and math in grades K through 8. They support our after-school programs. That's about 150 to 200 students total that are now attending Club Tiger, and they're a really big part of that program. They help support Snack in a Pack. We have 2 AmeriCorps members that is their primary service is to help run Snack in a Pack, because as a reminder, that is 100% volunteer run, funded, and driven. So that is wonderful that they're able to give that service that way. They support the Martin Luther King Jr. Day activities and 9/11 Days of Service. So we're very fortunate to have those members still within our district for the upcoming school year. And then finally, the very last grant is our NIMSI grant, our National Math and Science Initiative grant that supports, it has a focus on supporting AP teachers in the areas of math, science, and language. It gives them it has given them some supplies. It gives them ongoing training and materials and support, professional development, the opportunity to collaborate with other professionals that teach these courses outside of our even district, let alone state. But it also provides training for teachers laying the foundation in those same content areas, grades 3 through 12. And we had several teachers take advantage of that. That was provided free for them to attend this summer as well. So we're really happy to have continued support from NIMSI. Thank you. Any questions?
Questions or comments for Mrs. Long? I think I can confidently say as a board, we know, can't even imagine all the work that goes in behind those grants. But when you think about the impact that it has on our students, just thank you very much, and to everyone that's involved in that.
Thank you.
All right, next up we have our communication report with Mrs. Ward.
Thank you, Madam President and members of the board. It is my pleasure to have this opportunity to provide the Communications and Marketing Annual Update. Our purpose is to keep our community informed, and both internally and externally, and to promote engagement. We are an office of two, but I always like to say that we're a team of thousands, because we are dependent upon everyone working together to get our communication out. So if I do use the words I or we in this, please know it means all of us working together to make our communications possible. The highlight for the 24-25 school year is that we redesigned our website and our mobile app with the input of numerous individuals and groups and survey results. I especially want to thank our Communications Advisory Board, because those members worked to make this design possible as well. You will notice that we have a dramatic increase in the number of page views and sessions this year. Please note that these comparisons are not apples to apples. With the mobile app, everything is linked to our website, so our numbers are inflated, and they will continue to be so in the future because of the mobile app. So we want you to know that next year it will be apples to apples. Both our internal and our external communication engagement continues to increase through our multiple tools, including our internal Tiger Tales that goes to staff, our Parent Pause that goes to parents, Facebook, and Instagram. As an example of our internal communications, this year we offered a new teacher training in communications, and these are some of the subjects that we touched upon. As an example of our external communication, I picked Liberty Elementary to share with you because we're not done yet. And this communication plan started with surveys, tax levy information, and then thanks to our voters, we were able to move forward. We then began sharing the site plan and answered general questions. Next, the building plans were shared with neighbors who live close to the school site. And then with the public, we also launched a website and set up an email address so that we could answer questions that anyone might have about Liberty Elementary. We will continue to provide updates, and we look forward to hosting an open house for our community in the summer of 2027. Our goals for this academic year are to amplify student voice, increase alumni engagement, highlight the CSIP process, and of course, share, repeat, and share. And for those listening, CSIP stands for our Comprehensive School Improvement Plan, which is our district strategic plan. And next, as the district works to update its CSIP plan, we are also working to update our comprehensive communication plan. As it has in the past, our communication plan will align with and support the district's plan. And I want to thank you for this opportunity to speak with the board. It is a privilege and an honor to serve our students, our staff, and our community. Thank you, Madam President, board members, and our leadership team. It's a great day to be a Tiger. Any questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Ward. Questions or comments? Ms. Ward, could you speak to some of our top pages on the website or on the app that our families are visiting?
Yes, our top one during the academic year always is our Canvas parent portal. That means our parents are really engaged and really do care about our secondary students and the assignments that they're getting done and that they're attending school and all the other information that they can get there. And our next highest one is our overall homepage, which is to be expected. And then after that, it comes up with the events, and that's again because that events calendar is linked from our mobile app to the website.
Yeah, thank you. Any other questions for Mrs. Ward? Okay, thank you very much. All right, MSBA policy and procedure updates, first read.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration presents the following policies and procedures as first reading at this time, please. Thank you, sir.
Any initial questions on those? Okay. Next up, job descriptions, first read, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Madam President. The following job descriptions are presented for your review and consideration as a first reading.
Okay, any initial questions for Dr. Goforth? Okay, we'll move on to our action items. First up, we have our 2025-2026 tax rate. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration recommends a motion to approve the tax rate levy of $2.8747 per each $100 of assessed valuation for the FY26 budget.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve? Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Keeling, thank you. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, motion passes. 2025-2026 tuition rate, Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration recommends a motion to approve the 25-26 school year tuition rate at $12,450.
Okay, if there are no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve. Thank you, Mr. Pondram. Do I have a second? Mr. Lercher, thank you. All in favor, show of hands. Motion passes. All right, MSBA policy and procedure updates, second read.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration requests approval of the following policies and procedures for approval at this time, please.
Okay, if there are no questions for Mrs. Bales, I would entertain a motion to approve as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Mr. Harn, thank you. Mr. Keeling, second. All in favor, show of hands. Motion passes. Policy JFCD, student use of personal communication devices, waiving a first read.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration makes a motion to approve the following policy, waiving the first reading at this time. This policy has been through our tabs revision and will allow us to meet the deadline of the end of August put on us by the legislature.
Okay, very good. If there are no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Do I have a second? Mr. Pondram, thank you. All in favor, show of hands. Motion passes. Board policy BBFA, second read, Mrs. Bales.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration makes a motion for the approval of policy BBFA, board member conflict of interest and financial disclosure as presented, please.
Okay, if there are no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve. Mr. Lercher, thank you. Second?
Second.
Mr. Keeling, thank you. All in favor, show of hands. Very good. Change order number 2, BP number 2 with Wright Construction Services on Liberty Elementary Phase 2 project. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration requests a motion to approve change order number 2 with Wright Construction Services on the Liberty Elementary Phase 2 project, BP number 2, in the amount of $483,377.80, increasing the contract sum to $36,731,299.80.
Okay, if there are no questions for Mr. Harrison, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Harn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Keeling, thank you. All in favor, show of hands. Motion passes. Change order number 3, BP number 1 with Bloomsdale Excavating on Liberty Elementary Phase 1 project. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration recommends a motion to approve change order number 3 with Bloomsdale Excavating on the Liberty Elementary Phase 1 project, BP number 1, in the amount of negative $644,250, reducing the contract sum to $11,312,136.09.
Thank you. Do I have any questions, or I would entertain a motion to approve? Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Pondram. All in favor, show of hands. Motion passes. 2025-2026 mileage rate, Dr. Goforth.
Thank you, Madam President. Administration requests approval of an increase in mileage to 65 cents per mile for the 25-26 school year.
Okay, if there are no questions for Dr. Goforth, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
Thank you, Mr. Harn. Second, Mr. Anderson. All in favor, show of hands. Motion passes. We do not have a closed session, so I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Let everybody go home. Thank you, Mr. Keeling. Do I have a second? All right, thank you, Mr. Anderson. All in favor, show of hands. All right, go home and get some rest.